have a quote from you, if I could read it. Whenever something that you think you want does not unfold, it is for one of two reasons. Either your habit of vibration, your belief, your dominant vibration that you are offering.
And today we would add your point of attraction or where you stand in your grid is not a...
Are offering relative to the subject doesn't match what you think your desire is. Or you and your desire are a perfect match, and this thing you think you want just doesn't match, and so the universe doesn't deliver it. And the second part I need clarification on.
Well, let's say that you have your eye on someone that you believe that you want to be with. But through your life, you've been having experiences with a lot of different people, both in terms of personal relationships, in terms of lover, but just in terms of human-to-human relationships. So you have come to conclusions about what you like in those people who you play with. So you've launched rockets, and your vortex knows, your vortex is the culmination of all that you've been asking for. But you think for some small reason, maybe it's appearance, or maybe it's financial status, or maybe you're just lonely. But for whatever reason, you've decided that that is the one, and so you can't understand why the universe doesn't orchestrate that for you, when all along what's going on in your vortex as a result of what you've been putting there is quite different from the probable outcome of that relationship with that person. Because what you're seeing with your eyes and what you're concluding about it. It would be like deciding that you want that magnificent car. It is the most beautiful thing that you've ever seen. It is beautiful to look at, and the color of it is everything that you have ever wanted. But you don't know someone took the engine out of it last night. So you've got your heart set on that. And the universe is not, now these are bulky analogies, but the universe does not arrange for you to have that car if you are truly in sync with the vehicle that you want, because that car has some of the things that you want, but not nearly the most important ones. So often, if you could just get to a place where you trust that you've done step one, life has caused you to sort it out, and you've let the vortex know unerringly what you want about this and this and this and this and this. There is more information contained in your vortex, this body of knowledge, some of which was there before you were born and much of which you've put there since you've been in this body. The vortex equals what you have evolved to in terms of all things that you desire so far. So when you understand that step one has happened because you put it there, and step two has happened because law of attraction and the source within you is on it and holding the frequency of it, then your work only has to be to get yourself in a place where you're not blocking yourself from the impulses, where you're not blocking yourself from the grid filling in, where you're not missing the opportunity to receive the impulse and to follow through with the action or with the words or even with additional vibrational offering in order to allow it to come about. There are a lot of things you think you want that you do not want. It happens all the time. You get your eye on some job, you think you want it because it has status, but it would be a living hell if you were to live in that job. Well, if you are true to who you really are, the universe is not going to make it easy for you to walk into something that you do not want, you see. But if you are complaining all the time, if you're fearful that you won't get a job, if you are finding vibrational equivalent to that thing that you think you want that really is not a vibrational match to what you want, but it is a vibrational match to the way you've been feeling, are you getting all of the subtle nuances and not so subtle nuances of this? A lot of times you are a vibrational match to the very thing you do not want because you're afraid you won't get what you want, and so you're a vibrational match to the absence of what you want, and then the absence of what you want walks in and you say, oh, that must surely be it, because it feels like a match, because it is a match, but it's not a match to what you want, it's a match to where you are. That was a really good quote.
It was a good quote. Is it, just to clarify, the analogy that I came up with was Dorothy in The Wizard of Oz, where she...
Oh yeah,
in
let's
the
talk
end-
about that.
She comes in the-
We're just playing with you. We were hoping for an analogy from your own life
Oh,
rather than a fictional character. The thing about...
well,
the
it
thing-
kind of is, because it's like, in the end, she says there's no place like home, and that was really my question. That
Home meaning alignment.
sometimes I
Home meaning
think that
alignment.
I want something really big, and I have,
You do
but I
want
look
things-
at my life and I have everything that it seems like I should want.
Oh, well, you don't have anything close to everything that you want. You're just settling because you don't believe you can have everything that you really want. You're all like that. We've seen your vortex. So what happens is you've let yourself want a rocket here and a rocket here and a rocket here, a spurt here, a spurt here, a spurt here. But because you maintain the status quo of your grid or your point of attraction or your chronic vibrational offering, those words all mean the same thing. Your point of attraction, your grid, your chronic point of attraction. Because you've let what is dominate that vibration, you don't really have a clear view of what you've put there, because you put it there piece by piece by piece by piece by piece by piece. Every now and again, something will inspire you to remembering a piece of it. But you're not going to really feel the wholeness of what's in that vortex until you really do a good job of getting the resistance at a lower level and the allowing at a higher level, and you maintain it on a more regular basis. In other words, you got to practice that high-flying frequency before what's in your vortex can reveal itself to you. Those are not the best words. Before you can experience the revelation, better words, before you can experience the realization, you've got to get into the frequency where you can realize what you've put into your vortex. And most of you are not even close to realizing what you've put there because you're so enamored with what is, which doesn't hold a candle to what's in the vortex. You are settling for far less than you meant to. We love you so much because you're lazy focusers. Or because someone has convinced you that what you feel is unimportant. So you often don't raise your frequency by feeling your way into a better place. What was your morning like? Esther found herself, as she was getting ready, different things would trigger different thoughts about different things. Some experiences, some people, some products, some processes, some projects, in other words, her mind was in a lot of different places. But this morning, she was so keenly aware of what wheel that thought was on, what wheel that thought was on, what wheel that thought was on. Did you have some of the same experience? She found herself saying, "Oh, wait. Hold on there, hold on there, hold on there." Because she did not want momentum to begin on something unwanted. As you become keenly aware of the emotional indicator of the vibrational content of your current thought, you'll reach the place, and it won't take much time, where you will clean up your vibration or release the resistance, and you'll soon enough be in that high-flying frequency where you are a match to what's in your vortex, and you will then begin to realize it. And then you will not say to us, "I'm good." And we don't mean that you're not good. You're good. You're good. You're just not good. We mean you're good. We mean you're worthy. We mean you're whole. You're just not complete. You're just not satisfied. Don't give in to that. Don't give in. Don't try the bogus, implausible, impossible approach of lowering desires to match what isness. That causes a tug of war like no other. Because soon, really soon, like in the next minute or two, someone is going to present something to you that's going to reignite what you really want, and then you're back in that place again, you see.
I want to be passionate about
Passion
something.
is momentum, isn't it? Passion is momentum. So if you want it, but passion doesn't get started. I'd really like that, but and oh, that's really beautiful. But if you, that's really beautiful, I appreciate that. Or that's really nice, I appreciate that. That's nice. That's nice for these reasons. That's nice because that reminds me of something else that was nice in the same way. I really like that. Now momentum has begun. And it doesn't take much of that before something else like it shows up, which you also are appreciating, and then someone else is realized by you, which you also appreciate. And before you know it, that momentum has become sufficient enough that you feel alive, you feel eager, you feel excited about life, you feel inspired to motion, to action, to conversation. Yeah. You're doing just fine. You're doing just fine. We are expressing powerfully here because you are representing what so many people do. We have the advantage of knowing who you really are and how you really strive to feel. We know the ease with which you can operate in this life experience. We know the potential for love and exhilaration that you have, you see. And so when we stand in your vortex and we hear you talking about something that is different from what's in your vortex, we just keep reaching for more ways of expressing that will call you closer to it. And it's never a good idea to say to someone, you're not where you want to be. But you got to know that you're not where you want to be. That's what this whole question was about. We think you found the perfect quotation that really amplifies the confusion that is within you. What do I really want? What is it that I really want? What do I really want? Because there's so much to choose from. What do I really want? And we think the reason that that confuses so many of you is because in the question, what do I really want, you're trying to satisfy the question, and how will I get it, and when will it come, and who will bring it, and where will it be when I find it? And since you don't have answers to those questions, then you feel ill-prepared to even talk about what you want. But what you want is more basic than that. I want to feel alive. I want to be glad when I'm awake. I want to have fun with the people I'm with. I want to be eager. I want to feel good in my body. I want to love this world I live in. I want to feel good about those with whom I'm interacting. I want to uplift others. I want to evoke the best from others. I want synergy going around us. I want to have fun. I want others to have fun. In other words, when you get down to the basics of what you want, and you, for a little while, just stop trying to contemplate how you're going to accomplish it, but just activate within yourself what those vibrations feel like to you. It's not long before momentum gets going. In other words, you can't talk about fun that you want or about fulfillment that you want and stay focused upon it purely without ideas about what that means more fully flowing into your experience. That's that grid. Do you understand the grid in the way that we've been describing it? So, you've been living this life experience. We'll be very brief because many of you do understand it, but we really want an understanding because we're going to be talking about the relationship between the vortex and the grid a lot. So what the vortex is, you were source energy before you came into this physical body. Most people don't really know that. You were source energy before you came into this physical body, and still the larger part of you still is source energy. Most people don't understand that. They only know the me that is here in this physical body. But there's a larger part of you that is really part of everything that you're experiencing all day, every day. Every thought that you feel, every thought that you think, every word that you speak, there is another version of you speaking about the same subject, and the perspective of the source version and your version is what equals your emotions, period. Source loves that guy you hate. That's why you feel uncomfortable when you think about that person, is because you found a way of approaching that person that is very different from who you really are and what you have evolved to be through all that you have lived. So, Source adores you when you're hard on yourself. The reason that you feel guilt or unworthiness is because you have chosen to activate within yourself a vibration that we're going to call a thought, a vibration that we're going to call an opinion, a vibration that we're going to call a belief. You got something going on within you that is so different from who you really are that you're not resonating, not right now, with who you really are. You've got contradictory energy going on. So you were source before you came into this body. Now you're in this body. You still have connection, vibrational connection with that source part of you. And unless you're paying attention to your emotions, you don't know that. So here you are in your body, going through life, concluding, just as you knew you would, the things you like the best, the things you don't like, the things you want, the things you don't want. In other words, it's pretty easy. You put something in your mouth, you can tell if you like it or not, can't you? You put something on your body in terms of clothing or even something that you are putting on your skin. You can tell if it feels good or if it doesn't, can't you? You're very discerning. You're much more discerning than you give yourself credit for being. So as you sift through life, you know what you don't want, you know what you do want, and what you do want, what you've synthesized, what you've ferreted out, what you have sifted and sorted through all that you are living is causing you to send these vibrational impulses, we've been calling them rockets of desire, pure, fast, spontaneous rockets of desire of something that you have decided at some level of your being, often an unconscious level of your being, without even knowing it. When someone's rude, you want them to be nicer. And when someone feels sorry for themselves or isn't happy, you want them to feel better about themselves. When someone is discouraged, you want them to be uplifted. In other words, you just can't stop doing that all day, every day. So you have over time built this vortex. We are calling it a vortex because the highest vibration that you've accomplished on every subject is contained in this vibrational state of being. We called it a virtual reality for a while. Then we call it your vortex of creation. It's the vibrational version of all that you want. So this vortex version of you is annoying to many of you because you can't yet spend it. You can't see it, hear it, smell it, taste it, touch it. In other words, it's not something that is tangible and therefore satisfying in the way you want it to be. But we want you to know it exists and you have created it and it is yours and it is a certainty for you to experience the fullness of it, provided you stop doing that thing you do that holds you in chronic disallowance of it. And that thing you do that holds you in chronic disallowance of it is, you notice you don't have it, mostly. It's as simple as this. You know how when you have a question, well, the vibration of the question and the vibration of the answer are very different frequencies. But if you are just bound up in the question, well, why? Well, when? Well, how? Well, who? Who? How? Where? When? Why? As you are bound up in the question, all wadded up in the I don't have it yet, I don't have it yet, I don't have it yet, I don't have it yet vibration, even though it's ready to flow into your realization, it can't because you're blocking it with your contradictory vibration. You see how that works? So we're wanting you to realize that here the vortex is with everything that you want, not just probabilities, not just possibilities, certainties of everything that you've been asking for. But you've got to find some way of translating that which you've put there incrementally. Oh, this is new and it's really good. Are you listening? You've got to find some way of translating these components that you've put there incrementally into something that is meaningful into your experience, into your real life experience. In other words, you are now going to be the realizer of what you've been putting there. So that means you've got to practice the frequency of it. So it really is as simple as this. Let's say, for example, that your vortex is full of hundreds of things that you want, and that this swirling vortex, with the help of law of attraction, has gathered the cooperative components, and all of these things are ready to pop for you when you're ready to be the realizer of the popping. It'll pop with an idea, it will pop with an impulse, it will pop with pop, 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 pop. Makes you eager for life, makes you feel passionate when things start popping like that. So here it is, ready to pop, but you're not poppable. Because Because you've decided to take something that's very real to you and use it to focus upon, and that's the momentum you've got going on. So you've got momentum going that says, people don't appreciate me, and people don't understand me, and people don't really like to be with me, and we're just making this stuff up, getting it from you. But what you want is in a different frequency, so you can't be the realizer of it. You can't, the things can't occur to you. You can't be at the right place at the right time. You have to be at a place other than where that is, because you're at a frequency different than what that is. Do you follow? So you could take one subject that is sort of kind of like that, something that is working in your life, or something that did work in your life, something that you remember that made you feel good, and you can decide, this is going to be the subject, new words here, this is going to be the subject of my new momentum building. I'm going to use this to build my momentum. There are all these levels of flying discs, depression and fear and revenge and anger and complacency and frustration and okayness and hopeful and eagerness and passion and love and appreciation. In other words, they're there. And without knowing it, you're jumping on those wheels. You're jumping on, and here's the thing. When you get on one, law of attraction pretty much makes it easy to stay there. Because that's how you feel, so that's what you get. And that's what you get, so that's how you feel. And that's how you feel, so that's what you get. And that's what you get, so that's how you feel. And that's how you feel, and that's what you get. And then you say, well, screw law of attraction. If law of attraction loved me like I thought God did, law of attraction is not even like that. It's like gravity. You don't condemn it or love it, just accept it. It's really consistent, and it's going to give you what you're vibrating at. And so if you decide to choose something, so let's say you're not feeling that good, but you reach for something that feels a little better, and you manage to stay there for a day or two. And because you've shifted your vibration, these are what many of the process that we've been talking about through the years do for you. Now you find a different holding pattern. You find a different set point. In other words, let's say that you just feel a little better, and law of attraction gives you some of that, and you notice that, and then you feel a little better, and law of attraction gives you that, and you feel a little better. And now you're saying law of attraction is getting to be a little bit more my friend. And we say, it's not law of attraction that's being your friend, it's you that's being your friend. You're choosing a different frequency, and you're getting different feedback. And now you know the process. Now you can move yourself deliberately up this emotional scale until you are chronically offering a vibration that is worthy of what you've put into your vortex, because your vortex doesn't contain all that stuff that's on the way to your exhilaration. It doesn't contain all that stuff that's on your way to your passion and your love and your appreciation and your feeling fulfilled in life. It's got all the good stuff in it. We've got to stop pointing down there. The vortex has been, look at these nice circles on this road. The vortex has been The vortex has been described as this virtual reality, but now we're wanting you to feel these vibrational levels that you are choosing, and understanding that every one of them is spinning, and every one of them is gaining momentum. It's just not momentum up here in the good feeling vibration, it's momentum everywhere you choose to be. And you know that. That's why you can get yourself in such a fit. Haven't you noticed it? Have you ever been in a bad mood and made the mistake of telling someone else who was also in a bad mood? You can really get things going. It feels like the whole world could blow up just with the power of your dysfunction, you say. That's really helpful, isn't it? And then you want to ask yourself the question, do I want momentum to proceed from this point? Do I? Well, maybe you do and maybe you don't. But if you don't, then now what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about it? You know what we would do? we would sit down, we would draw in, we would close our eyes, and we would stop thought through the process of meditation until the evil spell lifts. It's not like that at all, but till the momentum subsides, you see. And once that momentum subsides, then you see, think about this, friends. If you have quieted your mind, there's no real momentum going. Ooh, we're onto something, aren't we? If you've got a quieted mind, there's no momentum going. And when you come from a quieted mind, you can pretty much pick your place on your wheel from that point. So you come out of meditation and you go right to appreciation. And now you have a chance of getting some momentum going. Now, you might think of somebody that you want to appreciate that you don't, and you might move down. But now you've got control of the momentum temporarily. When you wake up in the morning, you have temporary control of your momentum. Bless slumber, bless slumber, bless slumber. Bless meditation. Bless happy music. Bless a high-flying friend. In other words, there are a lot of things that you can do that will improve your place. So does that make sense to you? So if I've got momentum going, I'm on a wheel, let's say I'm on a wheel and I'm aggravated, I'm overwhelmed, I'm not feeling that good, and the universe is delivering to me everything that supports that vibrational stance. Isn't it? Isn't it? Everybody on the freeway acts just like that. What are they thinking? What's wrong with them? If they would behave differently, I would be having a much better day. Oh, they're reflecting myself back to myself? Well, that puts a little different slant on it, doesn't it? So let's say that that's where I am. Now, as we said earlier, that's how you feel, that's what's coming, that's how you feel, that's what's coming. It's almost, it isn't really, but it's almost. It isn't really, but it's almost. It isn't really, but it feels like. It isn't really, but it feels like, and usually is. Once that much momentum gets going, hard to break away from it. So, how are you going to get out ahead of the manifestation? In other words, that's like the story we've been telling you of falling out of the airplane. In other words, once life is ensuing, then you're applying all your action techniques to try to control it. Aren't you? You're harassing your partner. We gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go, we gotta go. Get in the car, 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 get in the car. Get your stuff ready the night before. Why do I always have to wait for you? Put your keys somewhere that you can find them. We'll eat on the way, we'll eat on the way, we'll eat on the way. You look fine, really, you look fine, you look fine. You look just fine. Let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go, let's go. So you apply everything you've got in terms of action to try to get this thing squared away. Give it up. Your action, there's not enough action in the world to compensate for what you've got going on. You got to get out ahead of it, you see. But what if you go to sleep thinking about these different vibrational wheels that you have access to, every one of them? And what if you anticipate going to sleep and therefore stopping your vibration, stopping all momentum, and when you first wake up in the morning, you get into an attitude of appreciation. You get there, the momentum starts, you feel it, you practice it, and what if it doesn't work the first day or the second day or the third day or the fourth day or the fifth day, but what if you keep doing it every single day until in about a week you wake up and you get 17 seconds of real momentum going about feeling good like that, and now you're off and running. And now that day will start out, at least, it will start out with enough momentum that now it's feeding itself, you see. And when you practice that long enough, before you know it, all of the stuff that is in your vibrational reality, all of this stuff that's in that vortex of creation, all of that stuff that you've been telling the universe that you want incrementally now begins to take shape, and you become the synthesizer of it, the translator of it, the receiver of it, the liver of it. You become the manifestation, the actualization, the articulation. You become the presentation. You become the realization. You become the reality of all of that. Why? Because you finally completed step 3 in a way that works for you, you say. Ah. Really good.
I've written a book, and it's about my time as a female cadet at the Air Force Academy. The subject matter to some may be wonky, but I feel good about it. I feel good about the story that I can sort of share with the people around me, and I wrote it in the vein that I wish...
Where do you think the majority of people who will read it are? What wheel are they on?
Truthfully,
yeah,
probably
always.
Not. Probably a lower wheel.
All right. So that's the audience you're appealing to.
Yes, I think so.
All right.
But it's a story about my time when I was down at a lower vibration.
Yeah, and what's the intent of the book? What do you hope to accomplish with those who read it?
To lift them.
Then write a book about something else. Because you can't practice that and move up. In fact, some people who are up there will move down.
Is it possible then to take...
Could be a step 1 moment for people. In other words, it could make them realize, oh yeah, I was there and I want this.
Yeah.
But, and a lot of things that are songs, lyrics, books, movies, they start there and bring you up. Some of them bring you right down, and then they bring you back to where you were, and you think you've had a recovery. I was so happy when I went into that movie, and now I'm just depressed, but I feel better than the despair I felt at the midpoint of the movie. I do feel alive. That's what made me know I'm alive. Can't feel this terrible unless you are.
Is it possible to write it from a place that feels good, or should I just move off the subject matter completely?
Well, we're not trying to talk you out of anything. We just want you to think about what we've been talking about here today, because you see, one day, this is a really the easiest way to explain this to you. One day, a woman had been in the audience, and she explained later that she'd had her hand up all day long, and we did not see her. And then later, toward the end of the gathering, she lighted up, and we saw her, and we called her forward to the chair. And she proceeded to explain to us that she'd forgotten what she wanted to talk about. And it's because she came with something that she wanted to talk about that was on a wheel more like this. And through the day, she'd moved up to her natural state of being. And when she finally got in she was just holding her hand up out of habit. And by the time she lighted up enough that we could see her, because her vibration had raised, now that problem and the way she felt were nowhere in the vicinity, and she could not remember what it was she wanted to talk about. So some of that's going to happen to you just as a result of this conversation. You may very well rework that book. You may very well approach it from a completely different place. We're not trying to talk you out of or into anything. We just want all of you to remember that you can be of no value to anyone unless you're connected to all that you are. And unless you want to write a book of commiseration, in other words, there are a lot of people doing that. Esther's moving through the stations on her radio, listening for uplifting music, and it is astonishing to her how many lovers have gone away. They're just gone, 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 gone. Gone, 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 gone. Has anybody got a current lover, Esther will say. There's got to be somebody out there singing about something that's up here. Yeah.
There were moments where, oh my God, the words would just flow, and the artistry of writing and the mathematical melody and the brilliance of writing and putting words together just lit me up. And I love writing. And there are elements of this book, the funny anecdotes, you know, it's not all grisly and gritty. I had so much fun with. But it hasn't been picked up yet, and I know there's a reason why.
Well, everything that happens, and this conversation has not helped in that sense, because we have you now focused on what you really want. In other words, anyone can write anything, focus on it with no split energy, and it will attract enough momentum that someone will come and participate in it. In other words, there is a niche market for everyone, no matter what it is. And in fact, we encourage people not to try too hard to figure out what your audience is. Just be who you are and trust law of attraction to bring your audience to you. But since you're here asking us, and since we know who you are and we see the vortex version of you, we think for sure that you want your book to reflect where you are, not where you've been. So just get more chapters in it. Really good.